Welcome to SC Awards 2026. I'm Mike Shima. Joining me today is Steve Garrison, SVP Marketing at Stellar Cyber. Steve, thanks for being here.
You're welcome. We're really excited to be here, Mike.
So one of the things we want to do to introduce all of the finalists for
Yeah.
the SC Awards is tell us a little bit what you do. What is Stellar Cyber?
Yeah. Well, we can go to so many levels, Mike, but I want to just start with one thing customers like about us is we're all about their outcomes. What can we do to help their organization feel better, do better, and report better?
So you didn't want to list a bunch of acronyms or a bunch of jargon for me?
We'll
You
get
actually
there,
want
Mike.
to deliver value?
Trust me, we're going to get to some acronyms. I guarantee it. But this is
They're
the problem with
unavoidable.
this is the problem with the industry. If you walk the floor, I can't even count how many times I see AI because it's over 1,000, and so it's noise, right? And people just want to know, will it work for me? So we start with that. What are your outcomes? What are you expecting?
And honestly, that seems like a wonderful way to engage people.
Well,
What are you going to do for me?
Yeah, no, it's nice. They're paying money, so we'll hopefully do something for them.
Hopefully. And so what are the outcomes that people do want from you?
Well, I'm going to give you a couple of quotes because when it come to our stand, we have a nice video with customer testimonials. One is AG Jeans. Sharam there, the CIO, says, "You've reduced my false positives by 83%. Another customer said our analysts are now 65% more productive, right? These are the kinds of signals that bring people to our booth so they can have a meaningful conversation. And of course, Mike, we're powered by AI. We'll get there. But what we really tried to do is think about our personas, the people we're selling to. We sell to MSSPs, managed security service providers. They provide usually what they call an MDR, managed detection and response service. And on the other side, we sell to the mid-market. Think mid-sized enterprise, 1,000 to 20,000 people. And guess what, Mike? We bring these two communities together because we want MSSPs to bring value to the mid-market, and we want the mid-market to feel they have a community or an ecosystem of people who understand the product. We don't offer a service. We want our channel to deliver value to our community.
That's interesting, and that's got to be a bit of a challenge too, to make sure that you're discovering where that value should be and what they need. So how does that work? How do you focus on the customers that way?
Well, it's with MSSPs, it's about their business and their P&L, how many cases per shift, and how can we make their analysts handle more cases without scaling the cost, but scaling the revenue. So that's one message, and they like that because we enable easy onboarding. We have a platform that allows them to turn on customers themselves and white label and deliver the service any way they want. On the enterprise, they still want eyes on glass. Many of them want to manage the platform themselves. What we call those lean teams, Mike, because we're usually working with 1 to 20 analysts.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And what they want is a platform that brings all their tools together and helps them make decisions faster.
So this is not about this. It's not just one single tool that's solving
we have
this
multiple
problem.
tools.
Yeah. So how does that work then into, say, I'm faster at clicking buttons? You're automating. I say automating the SOC. You're helping the SOC be more efficient. What does that look like? How are they getting so happy about this?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things. So we have a vision statement or a journey. We want to take you on the human augmented autonomous SOC. And there's two parts. The human augmented, we're putting out a big signal there, Mike. You're important. We still need you. Security's tough. Waymo and Uber can drive cars around all day long with robots, but security's a little different, right? You've got multi-stage attacks. You've got on-prem, off-prem. You've got machine learning tools over here. You got people promoting agentic AI over there, and somebody has to help people consultatively pull this together to make sense out of it. So number one, we listen to people, and we deliver an open and unifying platform because we want to take the data and the tools you trust, Mike, and actually use it. So give me a vendor that you think we should work with.
Yeah.
Give me one. Just throw it out. Challenge me here.
Well, to see. So there's vulnerability scanners. That's my world.
We love vulnerability. Okay, well, we work with all the big guys. In fact, we have Tenable built into our product. You can turn it on as a license. But we work with all the vulnerability players because that's part of the story. What we help you do is see your cloud, network, endpoint. I'm not done yet. Application, user, identity, and vulnerability, Mike. We pull all that together. And here's the good news. What if you use it? I wanted you to say CrowdStrike or SentinelOne because they're great partners. We use their data and we help in a closed loop take their answers and we give them answers and we share and we make a decision. We report that back to the customer as a team. This is what people want. They don't want vendors saying, not my data, not your tool, this and that. They want to know, can you guys work together? Right. So that's the whole point of the open. The whole point of the unifying is we have a very well-developed data engine that starts with machine learning, jumps to correlation machine learning, that jumps to LLMs for human investigation, that jumps to the newest part, the agentic, and we have that detection, investigation, triage, and response all from one console, no matter whose data it is. This is what people want on the mid-market, Mike. They don't want to be told, give me more silos. They don't want to be told, replace half of your gear and I'm okay. Guys, I don't have a lot of money and I don't have a lot of time. Can you take what I have and make it better? That's what we do. That's why I started with outcomes.
That's a good story. And I think, and I have to give a shout out to machine learning is like that. Yeah. That's old school AI before AI was so very Mike, cool as the acronym.
You're touching my warm button. Here's the fun story here. StellarCyber.ai, 2015, back when AI meant machine learning. So here's the fun one. We've been on we have not jumped on the AI train, Mike. We've been conducting it from day one. Zing. How about that, huh? That's a good line. Somebody on my team, Lisa, shout out to Lisa. She wrote that line. I loved it.
That's good. So, Lisa, we'll make sure this is available for you to pull out as a clip.
Well, no, I'd leave it in.
Yeah.
We can leave it in.
No. Yeah, exactly. And that's where I wanted to say that I love the openness of the platform. And that definitely is a theme that I've seen before.
Yeah.
Another theme, though, and one of the traps of having, here's my CrowdStrike, here's my Tenable, here's my Qualys, here's et cetera. I'll go through that we probably could list the alphabet A to Z of vendors. But you can quickly get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Suddenly I have all this information and that lean SOC. That analyst can't be paying attention, I imagine, to this output, this output, this output,
that's
et cetera.
Correct. And that's the whole problem.
How are you doing that? Yeah.
We use a case management framework. So if you go into pure IT, they're used to dealing with cases. Think services now. Open a ticket, walk through the journey of the ticket, close the ticket. That's a case. IT people have that closed loop philosophy. In security, we grew up with alerts from this tool, alerts from this tool. And humans started to build that mesh atop to find the forest from the trees. That's what our machine learning and correlation and automation technology does under the hood. We basically help you not need a data scientist and not need to futz with your data lake, because we bring you all aligned, clean data in a case where we actually present you a framework. So here's a good example. I'm Steve, I'm an admin. I logged into the server, an SQL server with our valuable information at 4 a.m. on a Saturday. Now I'm a weird guy, I work at weird times, but I've never done that. Now I'm sending that SQL data at high speed across the enterprise. That's unusual. Now I'm sending it out to Russia. Ooh, we don't have any customers in Russia. These are all different signals that would come from different tools, hence different alerts. We stitch that together. We call it connecting the dots, Mike, into a case with an image saying, here's the guys, here's all the infected, here's the people who are going to be infected. What actions would you like me to help you take? That's a real excel. That's how the productivity and the better outcomes come, because we help people see the Van Gogh. Are you a painter, Mike? Do you enjoy art?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to make an ear joke, because keep going with the Van Gogh.
Okay, because I'm a big Van Gogh guy, and if you go to, it's actually Van Hock. That's my best Dutch accent. And if you go to the museum there and you get close, his art screams off the canvas. When you see it on a photo, you don't see it, but it's very three-dimensional. My point is, artists are hard to find. They're a little grumpy and they want a lot of money. And people can't find artists. So wouldn't you rather be an art critic? Everybody's an art critic.
Everybody's an art critic.
So that's what case management is. You get to be the art critic and say, I don't know if I believe this. And here's the good news. We expose our decision framework on our AI. We call it multi-layer AI, just to get that brand out of what we do, detection to correlation to LLMs to agentic. We put that under one umbrella called multi-layer AI. But the point is, we give you that Van Gogh picture, and you go, nah, that's crap. I like Starry Night better. That I don't like flowers. Whatever, but you get my point. That's how the productivity and bringing the tools together, bringing any data together into that single console. It is the holy grail. I hate to say it, but it's the single pane of glass story. We've had customers tell us after the fact, folks, don't believe me, I'm the marketing guy, but after the fact, you're the single pane of glass of the single pane of glasses I've been looking for. How about that?
And it makes me, I'm going to go with Cezanne too, and the pointillism, because you can focus in on this one little thing, but if you pull out, what a beautiful picture that we see. And the thing that I wanted that struck me with what you were describing is case management also is one of those things that always worries me, because case management can be, look how many cases have gone up. You count the cases rather than count the outcomes, or count the,
that's a great
what's
question.
the action I should be doing? So how do you help them avoid that, like numbers going up, numbers going down, because cases are cases?
Well, first we score the cases. Number one, and we have another console that actually shows you the MITRE attack framework in a loop. And you can actually see the stage of the attack. And obviously, you want to start at the early part. You don't want to go in the end of exfiltration. That's bad. That means you don't have a smoke break or coffee break. You got to hustle. But
that's a long weekend.
hopefully, you're seeing it at the early stage that you can take quick action. So the scoring is the easy answer, right? We coach obviously we have an academy, we have certifications, we have training, and we say, look, if it's a 50 and there's a 90 in terms of the score on the case, you probably want to start with the 90 one first and maybe just percolate the 50, right? So we help people prioritize based on a ranking. And by the way, that vulnerability data that you're so passionate about is a big part of that. Threat intel data is a big part of that. And that's part of what we do. Again, we bring in all that extra data to paint a better picture.
That's amazing. And now, so we've been talking about, I think, was it 15 years ago?
Yeah. Oh, no,
you've got
2015.
2015.
So don't age us yet.
Yeah,
we're about 11 years old, though, Mike, but it's okay.
And I like math. I don't know I got that wrong. But I wanted to riff on that, if you'll let me.
Please, it's okay.
Rather than going, say, 10 years in the future, what's 1 year in the future look like for you? What do people have to look forward to?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a big announcement on the floor for us this year because we are known as a detection, investigation, triage, and response platform. But Mike, because there's so much excitement about agentic technology, we're allowing people to buy that part first. So they can put us on top of their stack and we will help them do automated triage using agentic AI technology. But we obviously would point them back eventually. Our detection engine is amazing and will help you reduce false positives when you glue our two parts back together. We have two licenses basically, but it's one holistic platform. But we're seeing such an interest in people wanting to try agentic.
Yeah.
We're making that available as an independent product. That's number one. Number two, we see the industry shifting. We're still very reactive and everybody wants to be more proactive. And one of the things that we see very near term, and I don't know if you're into Star Trek or sci-fi, but the idea of a shield, he's Spock man here, but even the Borg, right? You can change your screen, your shield frequencies and stop the Borg from breaking in, but that's not enough. You need intelligence. So think of a castle in the old days of a firewall. And that worked for a while. That was the traditional metaphor. And then we realized, but now think of an autonomous firewall where you've got SOCs in the cloud that are driven by bots. And here comes an attack at Mike. And we sense that and say, Mike, you're being attacked. So we're gonna do a little trickery here. We're gonna redirect the bots to a fake Mike. We're gonna play fake news to them and redirect them to fake Mike and protect the enterprise. So the idea of clouds of SOCs out there actually doing automated functions to stop early breaches, this is not science fiction, Mike. We're working on this.
That's wild. And it appeals to me as trying to save time of the SOC analyst.
That's what it's all about.
I've got all this.
Yeah.
And then conversely, add time to the attacker. And hopefully that adding time ruins their day. Right. But also increases that probability that they're going to make that mistake. They're going to trip over something and say, we got to stop this.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. I mean, just driving into Moscone today, that we want the hackers to be in the slow lane and we want the analysts to be in the commuter lane and get faster, right? So, but that's what it is, because people can't afford to hire armies. And even if they can, it's a big organization when do you really need that, right? But nobody in our organization or any of our ecosystem partners, Mike, have laid off anybody. There's not enough people. So they're just looking for simple things. Can I do this faster? Yeah. Can I do this with the same people more? Scale and efficiency.
Scale. That sounds like a wonderful way to wrap up, to leave a message for people.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
I knew talking to someone from marketing, I was going to get into minefield metaphors, but I had fun with all the ones you brought up, Steve. I appreciate this conversation. Thank you.
Same here, Mike. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. To learn more about Stellar Cyber, please visit securityweekly.com/StellarRSAC. And for all of our SC Awards 2026 coverage here from Cyber Risk Alliance, visit securityweekly.com/RSAC. Thanks for watching.